So it's the start of the year, which means most of us driver A-types are setting our goals and taking aim on what we're out to create over the next year. But hold up and press pause for a second, because there's a way to do this that will bring you the wins you really want, and a way to do this that will have you pulling your hair out and fully burnt out in months. In this micro course, I'm going to break down one of my favorite and personally influential concepts of goal setting, how to joyfully achieve. In full disclosure, I'm a reformed goal-setting junkie. Being a driver A-type, I've never been really good at the let's just let things unfold mentality. I have a value around being the master of my universe and having the power to do the work and create my life in the ideal way. But what I've learned is that there's a right and a wrong way to go about doing this, and I want to make sure you're set up to joyfully achieve in whatever goals you are out to create for yourself this year. So first, let's just take a 1-minute tangent, and it's important because to understand this is that it's part of human nature to have a desire to achieve and actualize our potential, to be the best versions of ourselves. So striving to achieve is good and it's healthy, and it's what Steven Pressfield, author of Turning Pro, describes as the difference between an amateur and a pro. And I don't know about you, but I certainly want to be a pro, not an amateur. So when I'm talking about joyfully achieving, don't get confused. We are still striving. We're still setting our sights on those big, hairy, audacious goals. And at the same time, we're being mindful about the way we're going about achieving those goals. You can angrily achieve or you can joyfully achieve. Which one sounds more attractive to you? If you're sane, you're likely on the joyfully achieving train. So let's walk through the 5 key components to joyfully achieving. First, values-driven goals. If you want to joyfully achieve, you first need to make sure that you have the kind of goals that will allow you to do this. There's a distinction I want to make between 2 kinds of goals: end goals and values-driven goals. End goals are outcome-based goals. They're created with the end in mind and are about obtaining something extrinsic. Values-driven goals are a whole other breed of goal. These goals are reverse engineered from our values and are rooted in the things that are most important to us. This is a huge and important distinction. These are goals that are created from a place of what matters to us most versus goals that are created from what we want to externally achieve. When we have values-driven goals, the process of achieving our goal is deeply meaningful and in and of itself. And we're bringing things into existence that matter to us most. So like end goals, we still get to achieve kick-ass outcomes in our life. The difference is they don't make us miserable in the process. The second component to joyfully achieving is around what to do with your kick-ass values-driven goal. You need to put it through the GROW test. The GROW test is supported by the science of goal setting, which unequivocally states the goals that make it are the ones that are put up against the current reality. When we do this, all obstacles that will and may come up along the way are identified and planned for, and all possible options to achieving the goal have been laid out. By creating a variety of pathways to a goal, you create hope and optimism that you can get what you really want, even if the first attempt doesn't work out. You know that there's another way, which is hugely important. Once you've decided your way forward, the next component of joyfully achieving is a mindset shift. We need to commit to turning pro, as Steven Pressfield would say. When we turn pro, we find our power. We find our will and our voice, and we find our self-respect. We become who we always were, but had until then been afraid to embrace it and live it out. That's a quote by Steven Pressfield. There's a major difference between the amateur and the pro. The amateur is the weekend warrior, the dabbler, the hobbyist, and there's nothing inherently wrong with the amateur on some things, but with things that matter to you most, you must be the pro. A pro operates and thinks like an absolute professional. They devote their life force and passion towards the things that they care about the most. They don't take a day off, they don't complain, and they don't even see it as work. They're energized and empowered by being the pro, and they wouldn't have it any other way. If you're committed to being a pro, you need to have pro-like habits. And that's the next piece of joyfully achieving. If we are what we repeatedly do, then habits are who we are. So how are your habits? Are they moving you towards your goals or further away from them? Habits is such a big topic. I'm gonna do a whole micro course on them later, but for now, think about what habits you can implement on a daily basis that would allow you to create masterpiece days, that would improve your life and move you towards your goals. This is important because these masterpiece days will turn into your masterpiece life. And finally, the fifth component to joyfully achieving, by far one of the most important and why I left it to last, is in order to joyfully achieve, you must find contentment in the present while being pulled forward by these inspiring goals for your future. Having gratitude for exactly where you are is the only way that you'll be able to live into the best of both worlds and both achieve and be joyful. Okay, so let's recap. To create big wins that you're out to create this year and joyfully achieve in the process, you have to create values-driven goals, put your values-driven goal through the grow test, commit to being a pro, create pro habits and masterpiece days, and find contentment in the present. All right, so if you're pumped and ready to joyfully achieve, you can download the goal setting blueprint in the link below. And if you want more, make sure to subscribe and follow the Winning Academy on Facebook and Instagram. And if you want to stay in the loop for when the next free values-driven goal design masterclass will be coming, make sure you sign up for our newsletter. Thanks for being here, and please share this with anyone you think could use a little joyfully achieving in their lives.